Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's remark on India's democracy has, or rather the death of democracy in India, has kicked up a major storm inside Parliament. The centre continued its offensive against the Congress in Parliament today, seeking yet again an apology from Rahul Gandhi for his alleged undemocratic rant against India. However, Rahul Gandhi, who claimed that democracy was under attack in India, even today, despite his return from his tour abroad, chose to remain absent from the Parliament. The BJP has called out his hypocrisy and said that those who feared that democracy was being targeted in India must first set their own house in order. Listen in.
Democracy, Mr. Gandhi, is not in peril. The Congress party has been brought to political perish by the people of India for this very behavior that you exhibited against the nation state overseas. When the Gandhi family directs congressmen and women to tear papers and throw it at the speaker's chair in the Lok Sabha, is that democracy? When the Gandhi family directs congressmen in Rajya Sabha to tear books, jump on tables and humiliate the chair of the Vice President of India in Parliament, is that democracy? It is shameful that Rahul Gandhi, instead of coming to Parliament and apologizing for his undemocratic rant against India, today seeks to be absent from Parliament.
The Congress, on the other hand, blocked and disrupted the Parliament third day in a row, refusing to let the House to function. Opposition MPs from more than 15 parties today led a march to the ED office demanding a JPC probe and an ED investigation into the Adani issue. The opposition has alleged that the government's aggressive attack on Rahul Gandhi was to deflect attention away from the Adani scam. However, the opposition's march today once again exposed the chinks in the opposition's unity, as the Trinamool Congress and the NCP didn't participate in the opposition protests. Meanwhile, the Trinamool Congress, which stayed away, also raised a protest about LPG prices, not about Adani, which has investments in West Bengal as well. Meanwhile, the Congress has said that there was no point that Rahul Gandhi should apologize for his comments. Listen in to the Congress's defense.
जब मोदी जी 5-6 कंट्रीज में जाके हमारे देश के लोगों को ह्यूमिलेट किया और हमसे ये कहा गया कि चंद कंट्री में जाके कि हिंदुस्तान में पैदा होना एक बहुत बड़ा पाप है, उन्होंने कहा, तो ये ऐसे लोग, अगर डेमोक्रेसी यहाँ खत्म हो रही है, फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन को कमजोर किया जा रहा है, फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को कमजोर किया जा रहा है, सब टीवी चैनल्स को दबाया जा रहा है और जो लोग सच बोलते हैं उनको जेल में डाला जाता है, तो ये डेमोक्रेसी को खत्म करने की प्रक्रिया नहीं है तो और क्या है? तो इसीलिए माफी का सवाल नहीं.
Why should he apologize? Again, I've repeatedly said, anybody in public life will always raise issues in all forums given to them.
राहुल गांधी ने गलत क्या बोला? तो देश में डेमोक्रेसी बची नहीं है.
Hypocrisy was on display on the opposition ranks. The opposition, which says it is united in its voice against the Adani scam, was silent on the DMK's attack on democracy by jailing 2 journalists. Not just that, senior Congress leader DK Shiv Kumar, maybe a chief minister hopeful as well, threatened the DG of Karnataka, calling him nalayak and also threatening him, saying, "Let our government come to power." The hypocrisy fully completed a circle. Listen in.
ನಾನೇನೋ ಬಹಳ ಗೌರವ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಕೂಡಲೇ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 3 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರು ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 25 ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬರಲಿ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಈವನ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾಸ್. ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಯಾರು ಎನ್ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಬರೀ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಏನು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ.
So that brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Opposition's hypocrisy responsible for Parliament impasse? That's the question and that's the debate. Sansad showdown, that's the hashtag and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining the debate tonight, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, Vivek Silas, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Nawal Kishore Yadav, spokesperson of the RJD. But my first question goes to Mr. Karthik Reddy, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti. And Mr. Karthik Reddy, all this hoo-la-la about march to the ED, giving a memorandum, wanting a JPC, well, you've approached the courts haven't given you any relief. Doesn't this fly in the face of what is the actual agenda of the opposition? Are you really concerned about people, or are you scared of the investigations? That's what people of the country want to know.
If you're following this case properly, Navika ji, the new PMLA Act is the most, if not the most draconian law this country has ever seen. It has given sweeping powers to the ED. It has put limitations on the judiciary to be involved in investigations. So if such a law is applied, अगर आज आप पे या मेरे पे भी PMLA Act पे कौन सा भी केस बुक हो गया तो अपन को भी बेल नहीं मिलेगा. इसका मतलब ये नहीं होगा, that doesn't mean that you or me are corrupt or you and me are convicted in any such cases. And we also have to know that there have been multiple cases before in this country where somebody has gone on trial, somebody has gone into custody, judicial custody. That doesn't mean that they have been convicted. They are accused in that.
Fair point, but these are matters not for you and me to decide. These are matters for courts to decide. You went for relief to the court has not given you the relief. What will a march to Vijay Chowk or to Enforcement Directorate actually yield?
If you're talking about Kavitaka's petition in the Supreme Court, it was for interim relief. It was not for anything else. What has not been followed in the first time when she was into the investigation into the ED office, if you remember the Nalini Chidambaram case, there are certain guidelines to be followed by the investigating agency when it has to investigate a woman. And those guidelines were not followed. Quoting those guidelines, Kavitaka has gone to the Supreme Court asking for interim relief. That's okay. This thing happened. There's one last thing, Navika ji, if you all remember. There's one famous Thomas Jefferson's quote which says, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes the duty. Now, this is what the problem is in this country. Injustice is everywhere. That is the reason resistance is needed.
Well, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, respond to the charge being made by Mr. Karthik Reddy.
See, whatever has been said by Mr. Karthik Reddy is completely contrary to what K. Kavita said. Navika, K. Kavita was interviewed by many reputed channels and there was a very categorical question that was asked to her. K. Kavita ji, do you have any links with Indo Spirits? Now, if she did not have any links, she could have very categorically denied, no, I don't have any links. I have nothing to do with the Indo Spirits. Indo Spirits is one of the company that is also the accused. She could not deny. That means she has links. 1. 2. These people come out and they say that ED and CBI are being used for political gains. I challenge Mr. Karthik Reddy, the Congress sympathizer Tehseen, if they can show one judgment of the Supreme Court or the High Court where the investigation of the CBI and the ED has been quashed by the Supreme Court and the High Court during the tenure of Prime Ministership of Shri Narendra Modi ji. Third point, look at the contradiction. When Manish Sisodiya was arrested, Navika, Congress Delhi unit tweeted, they welcomed the move. तो एक भ्रष्टाचार मैं करूं तो ठीक है, तुम करो तो जांच होनी चाहिए. National Herald case, when Sonia Gandhi was interrogated and Rahul Gandhi was interrogated, no other party came out in their support. The gist of my argument is simple, that gone are the days when CBI was a caged parrot. Now they are acting as per law, and the mood of the nation is, under Narendra Modi ji's government, that the corrupt should not be spared, they should be behind bars, just like Satinder Jain, Manish Sisodia, Nawab Malik, Partha Chatterjee and many others.
Let me ask Tehseen Poonawalla. Tehseen Poonawalla, my question is rather elementary, my dear Watson. The question is, do you want a JPC or do you want an ED investigation? Because till yesterday you wanted a JPC. Today you were marching and writing letters to the ED. Now the ED is investigating the excise or the liquor scam of the Aam Aadmi Party. There you are supporting the ED. But when it investigates the National Herald case, you do not support it. Trinamool Congress does not support you. The BRS does not support you. But they support each other. The Congress party calls 16 people, but your own alliance partner Sharad Pawar doesn't join you in the march against the ED. Boss, too much confusion. Can you explain to the country, ho kya raha hai?
There is absolutely no confusion, Navika ji. कुछ देर की खामोशी है, फिर शोर आएगा. कुछ देर की खामोशी है, फिर शोर आएगा. इनका तो वक्त आया है, हमारा दौर आएगा.
शोर तो बहुत आ रहा है. संसद से शोर बहुत आ रहा है. सेंस नहीं आ रहा.
Country की economy is no more. शोर ही आ रहा है. Country की economy is no more. Therefore, all the chore is being protected by the government of India. JPC से अगर कोई गलत नहीं हुआ तो JPC से घबरा क्यों रहे थे? Why in Parliament to specific questions? The answer was, why is your surname Gandhi, not Nehru? You could have answered those questions specifically. You didn't have the guts. Shore, क्योंकि चोर को बचाना है. अब पता नहीं चोर दोस्त थे क्या है. But let's come to the specific questions about ED. Now this is Government of India report released by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Under the UPA, the raids by the ED on UPA was about 49%, on opposition was 51%. But under this new government and the new India from 2014, out of 121 raids, 115 on the opposition and just 5 on the BJP and the allies. Therefore, I call ED BD, Bajrangal. But ED is also ED, extortion department. Let me tell you how magic works. Magic, I don't believe in magic. I'm a man of science, but magic. Himanta Biswa Sharma and Mukul Roy, when they are in the opposition parties, hear the magic. Raid investigation starts. When they come to BJP, investigation stops. When Mukul Roy goes back to TMC, the magic happens, the investigation restarts. Himanta, they say, oh, the sword is hanging on his head, but nothing happens. When the BJP writes a love letter that investigation should happen, it's called magic. They were talking about parrot. Are you have throttled a parrot. The parrot is no longer alive. You've throttled it and you've buried the parrot. And therefore you're saying nothing has happened. In the case of Sanjay Raut, the court came down heavily. Yes, it did not quash the petition, but came down heavily on how ED is misused. Therefore, the conviction rate in ED is 0.5%. 0.5%.
But you still want to march to the ED to ask it to investigate. Now I don't understand, Anand Ranganathan, what does this ultimately come down to and what is the bottom line? We are all innocent public people and we only want to know कि investigation करना है कि नहीं करना है. Because if investigation is done by ED into Aam Aadmi Party, it is a very good organization. If it is to be done into Adani, it is a good organization and they will demand an ED investigation. But if it is done on National Herald, it is a bad organization. Can you explain what's going on?
Good evening, Navika. I will deal only with facts because there is rhetoric which my good friend Tehseen has elaborated on, and there are facts, which I will. But first of all, my heartiest congratulations to Tehseen on becoming a proud father, and congratulations to you on becoming a Sasuma. Congratulations all around.
I don't know whether that's a compliment.
I just want to say this because let us deal only with facts. What is happening, this ruckus in Parliament, is because of what? Did Rahul Gandhi criticize China for interning 1.5 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps and feeding them pork and mass sterilizing them? I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe that's why all the ruckus is there. Rahul Gandhi criticizes China, and I think Tehseen must have advised him, Rahulji, please advise China because there is death of democracy here. Did he?
No, he said China's prosperity is being transferred to neighboring nations.
Correct, correct. He said the opposite. And Rahul bemoans democracy is under threat. Let me inform this industrial scale liar that the real test for democracy is the independence of two institutions, Supreme Court and the Election Commission. And under Modi, these two are not, I repeat, not compromised, whatever their failings may be. Everything else in Indian democracy, Navika, is being stifled as much now as it has ever been, because sadly there is constitutional approval for it. For example, on freedom of speech and expression. And what death of democracy is Rahul talking of? When the Congress government in Chhattisgarh arrested a man who complained of power cut and charged him with sedition. When Congress government arrests 60 tribals and Dalits, including a Dalit activist editor Sudhir Davle under sedition charges and threw him in jail. When 12,000 people charged in sedition under UPA, including 8,000 people in a single day. And the then Congress Home Minister Chidambaram called them anti-nationals, and Tehseen was silent then. When citizens were arrested by Congress government for merely calling a politician penguin. When a professor is arrested for sharing a Mamata cartoon in Bengal and acquitted after 11 years. Or when the communist government in Kerala books 120 people for social media posts criticizing CM Vijayan, or when there exist as many as 275 documented instances of brutal trampling of democracy under the Congress, 87 of those in the last 15 years. What death of democracy, Navika, I ask you, is Rahul talking of when a Congress MLA Johari Lal says he won't work for Dalits as they didn't vote for him? Or when Congress Harish Rawat says those who kill a cow have no right to live in India. Or when Congress legislators demand hanging of Kamlesh Tiwari. Or when Yasin Malik is celebrated by Manmohan Singh. Or when Congress leader Nilai Kannan laments why Modi and Shah have not been killed yet. Or when CM Stalin felicitates the man convicted in Rajiv Gandhi assassination. Or when Congress leader Shiroraj Jivon says during Hathras, and I quote, two people should die from each side. A leader should die or some common man should die. Rahul Gandhi will come to the scene only after bullets start flying, unquote. Or when Congress leader Pradeep Manji is caught red-handed inciting riots in Odisha in the wake of a rape case, ordering court, keep diesel and petrol ready. Once you get directions, set everything on fire, unquote. Or when Congress leader Shakuntala Khattik is caught red-handed in June 2017, ordering a mob to burn down a police station in Mandsaur. Navika, just 20 seconds. Sitting next to Rahul Gandhi in Parliament is a man, Simranjeet Singh Mann, a newly minted MP, who demands openly secession from India and the formation of Khalistan. He roams around free in a car provided by the government of India. He lives on a salary provided by the government of India. I ask Rahul Gandhi, is there anything more democratic than this? Let me know.
Once again, can I, on this Mann thing, can I...
No, not on the Mann thing alone. No selective answers. If you want to answer all the charges, my friend Tehseen Poonawalla.
All the time now. All the things that...
Rahul Gandhi ने उसको बुलेट
all the things that Anand said, like he keeps answering, he'll take the whole showdown.
What about the other questions, my friend? What about the other questions? What about China, Tehseen Poonawalla? Anand Ranganathan.
I quoted 17
on China.
17,
Anand, on China.
17 facts, Tehseen. Answer one of them. Just one. 17 facts.
I'll answer second on this penguin thing. I think MBA was wrong. I am saying that
has Rahul Gandhi criticized China and concentration camps? Tell me, yes or no?
Yeah.
You can tell me.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's wrong. It's terrible.
But has Rahul Gandhi ever talked about that? Has Rahul Gandhi ever talked about that? But let me raise the other questions, and that is the larger question. And let me ask Mr. Nawal Kishore ji. Nawal Kishore ji, Bhrashtachar was never an issue for anybody in the opposition. Maybe not even for the treasury benches. But definitely not for Rahul Gandhi. Because राहुल गांधी और आपकी तो सरकार चल रही है और लालू यादव जी का तो कन्विक्शन हो चुका है. So obviously on issue of ED, you are not going to be supporting the ED, you are going to be supporting each other. The question here is that what are you actually stalling Parliament for? You wanted JPC, then you shifted, you want now ED investigation. The Supreme Court has already set up a committee. The Supreme Court has asked SEBI to look into the matter and a committee to look into the matter. What is going on in Parliament and why are people's issues not being raised? Only issues about ED, because ED is asking questions to some political people from some political parties that aapko itna dard ho raha hai.
Navika ji, we have been asking all the issues which relates to common people, and in case of Bihar also we raised so many cases at the Bihar level also. We asked them that what about the promise that they made to during Bihar election, that 19 lakhs jobs they are going to give. Out of their 19 months of rule, they were not able to give even 19 jobs. We asked that. We are asking that after 8 years, where are 16 crores of jobs? Where is 15 lakh?
In the last 3 days, how many of these questions have been asked and why are goalposts being changed?
We are asking all questions. No, it is not being changed. It is not being changed. We are asking, we are trying to ask all the questions which is legitimate in the interest of the people of this country. But this government is hell-bent to silence all the voices that are being raised against them. And therefore they are selective in using the government agency against the opposition. You will find that 95% of ED, income tax, CBI cases are against the opposition party, even though the success rate is less than 1%. Tell me one thing, are these agencies not capable of handling cases, or they are acting at the behest of somebody? One thing has to be truth out of these two. You know, the nature of intervention of this government and intent is never people-centric. They just want to be in power by doing all kind of things which is anti-people. It is anti-democratic.
And that is why people elect them again and again and again. But Anand Ranganathan, CBI has got Lalu Prasad Yadav convicted, but CBI is not a good agency. Respond to Mr. Nawal Kishore.
No, नवल किशोर जी के मैं बहुत रिस्पेक्ट करता हूं. नाविका, देखिए, मेरा एक ही डिक्टम है जो अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने कहा था. सरकारें आएंगी जाएंगी, पार्टीज आएंगी जाएंगी, देश चलता रहना चाहिए. हम सब देश के लिए काम कर रहे हैं और इसलिए आपके पैनल में सारे कटिंग अक्रॉस पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज लोग हैं. नाविका, मेरी एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है. कांग्रेस ने फॉर्मुलेट करी थी पॉलिसी बेस्ड ऑन अटल जी's आइडिया about the new pension scheme. Congress's Montague Singh Ahluwalia had a big role in implementing it. Manmohan Singh ji rolled it out. Congress has rolled back the new pension scheme and brought in old pension scheme that is going to bankrupt all states. You please go. Right now, 17 lakh workers in Maharashtra are going on strike, demanding that BJP revert to old pension scheme. I want every panelist here, cutting across party lines, to say, are they for bringing back old pension scheme or are they for India's prosperity? Ultimately, what matters is India's prosperity, not a politician's or a political party's prosperity. आप सबसे पूछिए. और नवल किशोर जी, आप बताइए, आप old pension scheme के हक में हैं या new pension scheme के? Tehseen, you say it. And Gaurav Bhatia ji, my good friend, you say it.
No, Tehseen, the question is there is no continuum that is left.
Please.
Senior BJP leader says, I want old pension scheme. Devendra Fadnavis says only BJP can implement old pension scheme. Devendra Fadnavis is going about saying we will implement it. Why is BJP if it is so bad? Now, Anand, here, economics. Please. The old pension scheme is the requirement because the GST money is not being given to states. And you're seeing what the scams are happening. You're cutting interest rates for what is PF interest rate?
You'd love to divert the debate into the new pension scheme, old pension scheme. The question is the hypocrisy, my friend. The question is the hypocrisy. DK Shiv Kumar will go and say, नालायक है डीजी, मेरी सरकार आएगी तो मैं बता दूंगा. Is that democracy, Tehseen Poonawalla? Is that democracy?
And Times Now, I saw when Nitin Gadkari ji was BJP president and income tax raided in, Times Now had covered. He said, अब देखो हम सरकार में आएंगे क्या करेंगे. That was what? आप करे तो लीला, कोई और करे तो कैरेक्टर लीला, ये नहीं चलेगा. Why did ML Khattar said only I will implement?
But they were not saying democracy is dead. Rahul Gandhi saying democracy is dead. Is democracy about calling out DGs and threatening them that when I come I will see you? Gaurav Bhatia, respond to that.
Yes. Navika, my fellow panelist Tehseen was talking about शोर और कुछ शेर सुना रहे थे. मैं भी अर्ज करूंगा, कांग्रेस की फितरत ये है, पहले बहुत शोर आएगा, उसी के पीछे छुप के चोर आएगा. और मैं ये क्यों कहता हूं, आई वुड रिमाइंड यू,
बीजेपी कांग्रेस के पीछे आ रही है.
You know, Rahul Gandhi goes on foreign soil.
बीजेपी के पीछे
as a citizen of the country, please, Navika, this is very unfair. I don't speak in between. I don't know, one share.
Let's not interrupt each other, my friends. Everybody has spoken except Vivek Silas. I've asked Gaurav Bhatia to respond to some of the charges made. Allow him to respond. Yes, Mr. Bhatia.
Now, Navika, what I find very objectionable is, and India, many citizens believe that Rahul Gandhi is the most potent rocket for the Bharatiya Janata Party. He might be very potent, but we will not allow this unguided missile to damage the reputation of India. And the reason is very simple. Look at his statements now. Lie number 1. He said Narendra Modi ji has stated that Sikhs and Muslims are second-rate citizens in India. I challenge Tehseen Poonawalla to show that video or statement of Narendra Modi ji where he's made such a statement. And this is the Rahul Gandhi who has earlier also apologized before the Honorable Supreme Court for lying in the Rafale matter. Second, I take strong objection to the fact that in our democracy, he says judiciary doesn't exist. आप मुझे याद करके बताइए, Rahul Gandhi faced a rape charge and it was the Honorable Supreme Court of India that quashed that complaint. So if the Supreme Court of India is not functioning independently, how is that rape charge quashed? Second, Pawan Kheda, the arrest was stayed or not stayed, and Jairam Ramesh said, Tiger Zinda hai. Second, China, he says China is a country of harmony, a force of nature. I want to ask, ये भैया कहां से MOU में लिखा है, बताएंगे कि China is a country of harmony. You take bribe of 1.5 crore from the Chinese party and then you start defaming our country. You think the citizens will tolerate? And he says no democracy and parliament exists. I just want to end by saying this, Navika, that if the parliament doesn't exist, then you tell me how are we legislating? How are we amending the constitution to bring in the reservation for the EWS? How are we enacting the laws? And Rahul Gandhi today was absent. He was not even serious enough to attend the parliament. His attendance is dismally low, 45%. And that is why I think he should apologize to the country for making all the remarks that are not justified, false and propaganda.
Well, let me ask Mr. Vivek Silas. Mr. Vivek Silas, the opposition's job and duty in a democracy is to raise questions. Fair point. You must take the government apart, you must criticize them, you must seek accountability. That's your job in a democracy. But is it the job of the opposition to undermine India's democracy when they are on foreign soil or even within India? Is it the job of the opposition to go abroad and ask for foreign intervention to protect India's democracy? You think we all citizens and you all political parties cannot protect the democracy of India? And in a country where election after election, you've seen you win some, you lose some. The Congress party has just won an election where BJP won in Gujarat, Congress won in Himachal. What is a better example of a flourishing democracy? And then comes the opposition, which instead of fighting against corruption is actually standing together to have protection to be corrupt and escape investigation. If you are not corrupt, just go through the investigation and come out clean and let the people of India know that this is a political vendetta as you claim. But one day you want a JPC, so you will stall the parliament. One day you want a Supreme Court monitored inquiry, so you will stall the parliament. And one day you will march to the ED, the same ED which is abused morning and night by the opposition parties. What's going on?
Yes. Very good evening to you, Navika ji, and thank you for having me on the show. Right now, Gaurav Bhatia said, how are we enacting the laws in the parliament? Let me tell you, when the farm law was, put up in the parliament, it was without the ordinance. The bill was passed where 700 farmers lost their life, and eventually the bill was taken back. Second thing, Gaurav Bhatia said, CBI is no more a caged parrot. Let me tell you, Mr. Bhatia, it's no more a caged parrot. It has become a puppet of the government. I'll tell you why. Because the CBI director is caged in his own office at 2 a.m. and even his pension is stopped because he tries to show the truth. At the moment, the government is only acting to save Mr. Adani. That is all. It is giving a cover fire to the Adani group, where 38 shell companies were formed in Mauritius, and 42,000 crores of rupees was pumped into India. We never know what is the source of that money, And if we see that even the Adani group was given a loan of 2.5 crores and 84,000 crores was exempted. How did it happen? We don't know. There should be a probe in this. That is what we are demanding, If you say the matter is in the Honorable Supreme Court, let me tell you one thing, Navika ji, the Honorable Supreme Court works on review of regulatory framework. It won't be clear as to how the Adani stocks rose 82 times. From where did the illegitimate money and foreign fund came? How the decent system was given to infra capital defense? And what is the probe of the SEBI? DRI, what is it doing? And what is the EB, CBI, SFIO, IDRA, SFI and others, what is their role? So a JPC has to be done, or a ED inquiry has to be done, because it is a very serious matter, because this is one of the biggest scams that India has seen. And now what is happening in the parliament at the moment is just a shouting match going on, and it's the Bharatiya Janata Party's big leaders, the ministers, who are taking it.
The ball is back in your court that it is because of the treasury benches that parliament is not functioning. Respond to the charge.
Navika, if you could just answer a quick query I have. Mr. Silas is representing the Samajwadi Party, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yes, okay. So I think, Mr. Silas has not done his homework tonight, because please, I'm just checking, please, now listen to me, my friend. The UPA government framed Mulayam Singh Yadav, Akhilesh Yadav, Dimple Yadav and Prateek Yadav in a disproportionate asset case. Just a few days back, they've been given a clean chit, and this is happening under the regime of Narendra Modi ji. That's a fact. If we were abusing the investigating agencies, there would have been no clean chit, because they are the opposition party in Uttar Pradesh. 1, 2. They read the judgment of the Supreme Court also selectively, and I will place for the benefit of the viewers what the Supreme Court said while constituting a committee in the Adani matter. And he said it is only constrained to the regulatory framework. That's not correct. One line I am reading. He can read the entire judgment. And Navika, the scope of the inquiry committee is this: the above directions shall not be construed to limit the contours of the ongoing investigation. SEBI shall expeditiously conclude the investigation, and that too under the supervision of the special committee constituted by the Supreme Court. Third, Parliament, Azam Khan, he comes to the parliament when he was a member of parliament. He looks at the chair. Rama Devi ji was presiding, and he says, I look in your eyes and I cannot take my eyes off your eyes. And Akhilesh Yadav sitting next to him was seen laughing. Now Jayaprada, who was a member of parliament, Azam Khan was telling the color of the underwear of Jayaprada, a lady leader. This is the kind of, standards they set within the parliament. And Akhilesh Yadav does not even sack such a leader. All that I have to say tonight is that Rahul Gandhi needs to apologize to the country for all the defamatory and the false statements he has made on foreign soil, and he is a habitual offender, Navika.
Well, so let me ask Mr. Karthik Reddy, what is the issue in Parliament? Is it the ED investigation? Is it the JPC? Is it the apology that is required by Rahul Gandhi? What is the issue, and where are you on each one of these issues? With the Congress, against the Congress? With the BJP, against the BJP?
Navika ji, BJP's love affair is something with Rahul Gandhi, is something Bollywood love affair with South Indian movies. Let me tell you why I say this. Whenever Bollywood runs out of content, or whenever Bollywood needs some artistic touch to their movies, they look down south. And whenever the BJP runs out of content, and whenever they run out of a rhetoric, somehow we should just send Rahul Gandhi abroad. Rahul Gandhi apologizing to his country for the comments he made, for the comments he did not make, it doesn't make any difference, honestly. Our issue is simple.
It doesn't matter to you if India is shamed abroad. It doesn't matter to you if foreign entities... No, I'm asking you. It doesn't matter to you if foreign entities are called to intervene to protect India's democracy. It doesn't matter to you.
It absolutely matters. I'm on record.
Then why are you saying that it doesn't matter?
Apologizing or not apologizing does not matter to the country, Navika ji. That is, as we say, he's been saying this again and again and again. If we ask him for an apology, do you think he's going to stop doing it right now? It doesn't matter for us.
So then should he continue to be a member of parliament, enjoy parliamentary privileges on taxpayers' account?
That is for his constituency people and for his party to decide whether he should be an MP or not. Our issue today in the parliament has been very clearly the misuse of the agencies, especially ED and CBI. Now Mr. Bhatia has very eloquently gave us an example of different parties. If there is any money trail in this whole liquor policy, I'm not sure. But you know where the money trail has been? In Karnataka, where their own BJP MLA was caught with 40 lakh rupees in his son's office and 8 crore rupees in his house. The ED did not reach there, Navika, and there was proper, consistent, visual money caught. This is where the hypocrisy is.
Anand Ranganathan, as the people of India, where are we headed?
I think every party indulges in hypocrisy, but again, I'm afraid my good friend Tehseen, my direct question to him remains unanswered. I mean, here is Rahul Gandhi singing paeans about China, and that we should, as Mr. Gaurav Bhatia rightly said, Rahul Gandhi is wanting us to emulate China, and the way it has structured its, towns and villages and everything, he wants us to emulate China. When has on the floor of the House Rahul Gandhi criticized the internment of 1 million Muslims by Tehseen? Tehseen, just tell me the date and time and I will apologize.
Well, forget questioning that on the floor of the House, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Even to raise the questions on the Adani matter, he hasn't been in the House for the last 3 days. Today, despite being back from his foreign trip, he still wasn't there in the House or in the march that went up to the ED, or at least wanted to go. So the question is this all about posturing ahead of 2024? Is this only to somehow divert the attention of the people of India from the issues that really matter? That's the question people are asking. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.